Hey guys, xSilent here with a new video. This is a Zac guide featuring Challenger player Silas Kroeger. If you don't know who he is a multi-season Challenger player. He's played under the name Silas Kroeger, Scooter Sparkle, Big Apple Pie. I mean, you probably have seen him around on high elo streams. I know that he talks to Medios a lot. I mean, he's probably one of the best solo queue junglers on NA. So in this video, I'm using clips from his stream. You can go follow him. You should definitely go give him a shot. He's very educational. He's really interactive with the chat, and he doesn't have a lot of viewers right now, so you definitely will have a high chance of getting noticed and interacting with him. So I recommend all of you go visit his stream right now. Alright, now into the guide. Now, while Zac is mostly a utility character, he's a tank, he usually helps the team out. What's unique about Silas's playstyle is he finds a way to consistently carry the games as Zac. This involves a lot of farming, a lot of map pressuring, and a lot of ganking. So pay attention to exactly what he does and try to emulate it in your games. Most people, when they play Zac, they gank a lot and they don't farm enough. Or if they do try to farm a lot, they don't gank enough. It's all about balancing it out and efficiently pathing yourself throughout the jungle. At the start of the game, you're going to want to pick which lane to gank first. This is very important because the early pressure you put on the map will influence the course of the rest of the game. In this game, Silas sees that his top laner is losing, and Renekton doesn't really do that well in the late game anyway. He decides to help out his bot lane, Ezreal and Karma. Riven, when fed, has a lot of escapes, is impossible to gank. LeBlanc, really hard to gank, especially with Victor, who doesn't really have reliable CC. And bot lane is getting overextended on, so he knows he can easily gank bot lane. Especially if he gets an Ezreal ahead, Ezreal can slow Riven down, they can poke from a distance, and they can have a pretty safe and reliable win condition with a fed AD carry. So this game, he decides to focus on the bot lane. As you can see, he goes, makes sure he farms his jungle, and then goes and ganks bot lane. After he pulls off a successful gank bot lane, he goes back to his jungle, farms it all up, and then ganks bot lane again. As you can see, he's putting out a huge amount of pressure on the map, already ganking and killing bot lane twice, while still keeping up in farm himself. It is very important to stay ahead on Zac because since you fall off late game, you gotta be ahead early game in order to influence the game. A behind Zac is pretty useless. Even though you do have utility, you need to have that tankiness and you need to have that inherent damage that comes with stacking HP and getting the Cinderhulk. As you can see, he farms up through his jungle and then goes to cover mid to keep up pressure on the map. LeBlanc tries to fight him and he just straight up kills her because he's so strong from his early lead. He then sees that bot lane's in trouble and he goes down bot and fights them. As you can see, he's been ganking a lot more than Olaf, but he's still ahead in farm and levels because of how much he's been farming and holding lanes and covering. If one of your laners is not there, just go and take the farm if you're nearby. Even if they rage at you, you're not really doing a bad thing as long as you don't leave the wave in an awkward place. So you can see that he's keeping up his pressure by getting all that farm, getting all the lanes, and then being in position to go gank. So what you're going to want to do is go farm camps on the way to your lane that you need to gank. If you look at a lane and predict when you'll be needed, you can see about how many camps you can go farm before you go there. So just try to go farm camps near a lane, then go to the lane and gank, then just go back. Or if the camps are up again, then go take the camps. It's all about spending as little time doing nothing as possible and using all your time as either farming or pressuring. So if you've been pressuring correctly, you'll be ahead and your team will be ahead, or at least you'll be ahead and your team will be even or slightly behind. At this point, it's your job to take the advantage and convert it into a win through team fights and large objective control like Baron and the Dragons. So as you can see, as Zac, what you want to do in the late game in team fights is initiate, try to catch people out by themselves, or if you get initiated on, try to peel, try to counter engage, and try to knock everyone up and just cause a giant disturbance while letting your carries just shred their team. Now, we're going to go over the runes, masteries, and build for Zac. So, you're always going to want to go the blue smite with Cinderhulk. This allows you to catch people, allows you to smite them, gives you a little bit of extra damage in the early game, and is just overall the best. Cinderhulk is also the best, most reliable enchantment. Sometimes if you're really far ahead, you can go the AP jungle item, but it's usually not necessary and it's pretty risky, especially if you're not a very good Zac or you're not amazing Zac, because you can get out of position really easily and die. You need that HP in order to reliably pull off plays. Next, you're pretty much going to want to go Ninja Tabi. These boots are very good, pretty much the best for almost any tank jungler, especially since you don't need a lot of extra move speed or tenacity, since you're usually going to be jumping into the fight and then knocking everyone up. Giving move speed is kind of just a waste of stats. Ninja Tabi gives you a lot of tankiness for a small price, and it can really be meaningful in team fights when everyone's auto-attacking you, everyone's hitting you. It soaks up a lot of damage. Next, you'll probably want to go Spirit Visage if they have a lot of AP damage. With Zach, you have a lot of healing, and getting Spirit Visage is just really good on him because it allows you to heal up crazy amounts and just stay alive in fights and kill everyone and just disturb everyone and just be Nightmare, be unkillable. So Spirit Visage is so good, you might even want to get it into all AD teams. After getting a few armor items against all AD teams, you might as well just get a Spirit Visage because that's just how good it is. So you're going to want to get Spirit Visage usually against a balanced team, then you'll want to get Randuin's. Randuin's is just an amazing tank item. It gives you that slow, which is amazing when you're in the middle of their team. It gives you crit resistance. It gives you attack speed slow, so basically those 80 carries that might be shredding you down before will be less effective against you now. Now, after those two items, it's pretty much, this is where it's situational. Abyssal Scepter is really good if you're ahead. It's really good against AP teams. It gives you damage, which is really good on Zach. It will help you, it will make your Cinderhulk do more damage to people because it lowers their magic resist. So that's a really good option. Also, Thornmail versus heavy AD teams, and Deadman's Play is pretty good too. Banshees is pretty good, but it's usually unnecessary unless they have a lot of stuff that you want to dodge, like Nidalee Spears or Blitzcrank hooks or Thresh hooks or something like that. So basically, choose from these pool of items, usually going for the Spirit Visage, the Randuins, the Ninja Tabi, but everything is situational in League, and that's something you have to adapt to. You have to adapt to situationally build. For runes, you're going to want to go an interesting page. Silas runs 30% CDR, Armor, and Magic Pen. Armor and Magic Pen give you a little extra early game, with Armor helping you out on your clear a little, and Magic Pen helping you out on those early ganks, getting a little bit of extra damage in. You don't really need much on your clear since you have such good healing and such good damage on the camps already, especially with the talismans, so basically you don't really need any runes. The scaling CDR will help you scale a lot better into the late game, and you'll have 40% CDR with your Spirit Visage without even itemizing any extra CDR. So basically this rune page relies on you being able to do well in the early game without runes, and then you become a monster late game for it. 40% CDR is very good on Zach. And then the masteries are very simple, taking 12, 0, 18 with some extra damage and abilities, exposed weakness, just basically basic tank mastery. Strength of Ages on the defense side, just the best mastery for tanks, gives you HP, gives you sustain, helps your clear out, and that's basically it. Alright guys, so that's it for this guide. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, I hope you can go into your games and play Zach and carry now. Just keep in mind to pressure, to farm, and to just basically dominate the game as Zach. Another big shout out to Silas Kroeger for his Zach gameplay, and I highly recommend you all go check out his stream. I'll put it in the description. It's twitch.tv/SilasPlaysLol. Alright guys, see you next time.